So the last moment focus should always be on a topic which are extremely very much relevant. Okay, so that's the thing here. So relevant means what is important, what is very much important. That is what it should be actually. So you have first of all the chapter one, which deals with the quality control. Quality control. Understand that this chapter is supported by two standards. One is SQC1, quality control for the firm that perform audit, review, other assurance and related services. Okay. And you also have SA 220, quality control in the audit of financial statement. So having a knowledge of these two standards are very much important. My advice is that first start reading SQC1. In SQC1, the most important aspect so we have to learn is first of all the what you can say the engagement performance actually. So when an article assistant is doing audit, what quality parameters he has to follow? In engagement performance, engagement means work. Performance means how do you do the audit work. Okay, so focus more on the engagement performance because there they highlight that how the audit has been executed. And if it is a listed company, what is the role of EQCR? So your engagement performance will talk about the role of EQCR. And while we talk about the EQCR also, there may be some difference of opinion. Difference of opinion. How do you handle this difference of opinion? That you have to focus more actually. And EQCR means engagement quality control reviewer. Okay. And in engagement performance, so basically the whatever the engagement is done, should be done as per the professional standards and legal and regulatory requirement. Okay. Once you complete the what you can say the engagement performance, the second most important thing is acceptance and continuance of client relationship. Acceptance and continuance of client relationship. This is one of the another very favorite area of the examiner. Okay, so for example, client is lacking integrity, or client is doing any criminal activity. You can't accept such kind of client. So acceptance and continuance of the client relationship, that also matters. And then leadership responsibility. So it is the role, it is the managing partner or the CEO, CFO who is responsible for the affairs of the company, responsible for the quality control aspect actually. So leadership responsibility also matters a lot actually. Okay, so these three areas are very much important. Okay, now further what happens actually once you go to SA 220, SA 220 is nothing but it's a shadow of SQC1. So I can say SA 220 is a, see, SQC1 talks about quality control in four types of engagement: audit, review, other assurance, and related services. Whereas SA 220 talks about quality control only in the audit of financial statement. Okay, so here again, what you can say the engagement performance, EP engagement performance. That part you should be very thorough actually. So the engagement performance, okay, and you should also be thorough means how the audit has been done, okay, and the acceptance and continuance of client relationship and the responsibility, leadership responsibility. One thing, please understand that here the person who is responsible for quality control is engagement partner. Okay, so engagement partner is a person who is responsible for the quality control. Whereas there we in SQC1 we same person are addressed as managing partner or CEO of the firm. Okay, they are addressed as, so only the terminology is changed. Otherwise, the soul and the line of SQC1 and SA220 is similar. But SA220 is little narrow and this is more wider in nature. That you have to be very clear. Then going forward to the second chapter. The second chapter talks about the chapter 2, it deals with the general auditing principles actually. So the general auditing principles. In general auditing principles, you have certain basic standards, like say one of the favorite standards of examiner is on fraud. Okay, SA 240 actually, which deals with the aspects of the fraud. Okay, and you also have like say SA 250, SA 250, which deals with the consideration of laws and consideration of laws and regulation. SA 260, that is the auditor to communication to those charged with governance, communication to NSA 265, communicating significant deficiency in the internal control, significant deficiency in the internal control. That's the thing. And also SC 299, which is nothing but the joint audit. Okay. So the standard 250, then you also have another very important standard, that is SA 402, which deals with what you can say the service organization. That's the thing here. One simple strategy I will tell you. Suppose if you have limited time, then read more of what you can say the auditor's responsibility, or what procedure auditor should apply. If you focus on that, nothing more than that actually. So focus on what is the auditor's responsibility, okay? Or what, as an auditor, what he should do actually. Say example, fraud occurs. So what auditor should do? The auditor has to obtain a reasonable assurance that whether the financial statements are free from material misstatement due to fraud or error. Okay, so you have to you need to highlight that aspect actually. So suppose if any fraud occurs, so how the auditor will deal with this situation, this scenario actually. So how is he going about it? Similarly, laws and regulation, what are the reporting responsibilities of the auditor, or what is the procedures auditor will apply in case of a non-compliance? Focus more on the auditor's responsibility and audit procedures. In case, suppose say you have a shortage of time and you're not uh, able to read entire standard, then your all these standards you should focus on auditor's responsibility, audit procedures. That will make your path more simpler and easier. Okay, that is one thing I would like to highlight to talk about these standard. That's the thing actually here. Okay, and of course, when you're reading the standard, you please read in this chapter, read from, like, say, 402. 402 service organization, basically, suppose service organization is nothing but outsourcing. One company is outsourcing to another company. So all past examination questions you can take up. 402 is one of the favorite, like for example, they may ask you, what is type 2 report? What is type 1 report? They may even raise a question on how does a user auditor understand the service organization? And suppose he is not able to understand the service organization. So anything from the context of auditor you read. Okay. Definitions you avoid. Definitions they will not ask you. 99% chances are very low asking any definition. Maybe type 1, type 2 report, you may have a proper grip on it. Okay. That's the thing actually. Then we go to the chapter 3. Now, chapter 3 deals with basically audit planning, okay, audit planning and audit strategy. Okay, it deals with the aspect of audit planning. When you come to this particular chapter, straight away, you go to SA 610. SA 610 relying upon the work of the internal auditor. Okay, so first be thorough with the relying upon the work of internal auditor. This standard is very much important actually. So how do you deal with the work of the, what you can say, the internal auditor? So SA 610 aspects are highlighted here. Okay, so that you have to say, that you have to state actually. That's the thing actually here. So now first and the foremost thing is that you, how do you use the work of the internal auditor? That's the thing actually. So now, internal auditor basically factors to be considered by relying upon the work of the internal auditor, the organizational status, the competence and capability of the external auditor. So you have to go around that, and then suppose say any direct assistance is required from the internal auditor. So direct assistance, that you have to be very clear actually. So what are the direct assistance you require actually here? So from the internal auditor, yes, you may require a direct assistance actually. Okay. So internal audit, IAPD, internal auditor providing direct assistance. Straight away go to this particular standard and read these aspects actually here. Okay. That's the thing here. In this chapter, the next topic which you should touch upon is SA 620, that is auditor's expert, auditor's expert. So auditor's expert here basically you focus on the agreement between the auditor and the auditor's expert. So suppose if there is an agreement, they have to maintain confidentiality. Okay. And what are the responsibilities of the auditor's expert? So how do you use the work of the auditor's expert? You have to highlight it actually. SA 620 is all about that actually. And then you also have SA, what you can say 540, SA 540, which deals with accounting estimates. Accounting estimates means provisions and contingent liabilities. Provisions and contingent liability, that is accounting estimates. Okay. So in a SA 540 accounting estimates, basically what are the risk assessment procedure? See, standards, procedure, focus on procedures. What are the audit procedures? Risk assessment procedures. Okay. And accounting estimates having high estimation uncertainty or low estimation uncertainty, that you have to highlight and that you have to read it. That's the thing actually here. Okay. So then we also have the other standard like say SA 450. SA 450 basically how does an auditor deal with uncorrected misstatement. So if supposing there is an uncorrected misstatement, what are the responsibilities of the auditor? Okay, so it will highlight about uncorrected misstatements. That's the thing here. Okay. So these are the standards which are very much important. You have 520 and SA 300. So again, these standards, basically you have to read the previous important questions actually. But of all the standards actually, here you should focus on the auditor's responsibility. Okay, as an auditor, what procedures you will apply, what risk assessment procedure you will apply, how as an auditor you will deal with it. So that is what see the secret volume one, module one is what come on. Module one is full of standards on auditing. You have to, when you're reading the standards, focus more on, okay, as an auditor, how do I deal with this actually here? Okay, what is my responsibility as an auditor? Then chapter 4 deals with what you can say the materiality, and you also have risk assessment, and you also have what you can say internal control, materiality, risk assessment, and internal control. Okay, so this is the topic actually. Here in this case, first of all, read risk-based audit. Risk-based audit is very much important actually. So what is it? What do you mean by risk-based audit? How do you deal with the risk-based audit actually? That's the thing here. Okay. Then please read control environment, whether management has maintained the culture of honesty, ethical requirement. That is what we understand by the control environment. Okay. So you have the risk-based audit. That is a first priority, top priority. Then the control environment actually. Okay, that's the thing here. Then reporting on what you can say internal control weaknesses. Internal control, it's a policy procedure of the organization. So that is what we understand by internal control. It's a policy procedure process of the organization. So risk-based audit, the control environment. Okay, that is the topic important. And reporting on the internal control weaknesses actually. Okay, that's another important topic actually. Then can we do revision in materiality? Okay. Then what are the instances of risk? What are the instances of the various risk? Risk means problem. Risk stands to be any problem which is affecting the organizations. Revision of materiality. That is another important area you should focus on. Okay. In this particular topic also, apart from the risk-based audit control environment, you also have the risk assessment procedures. Risk assessment procedure. Basically, this procedure is applied to identify and assess the risk of material misstatement. That's the thing here. Okay. And also you come across the aspect of control activity. Control activity. What do you mean by the aspect of control? A control activity is a policy procedure which enables the organization to achieve their objectives. Okay. That's the thing here. So this is the aspect you should understand here. Okay. So these are the things you please focus in chapter 4. When it comes to the chapter number 5, chapter 5 is very important. That is audit evidence. The chapter targeting the audit evidence. Okay, the audit evidence chapter. Now, in this case, when we talk about the audit evidence, so it comprises of all SA 500 series standard, SA 500 series standard. So first of all, in SA 500 series, you have the audit procedures. What are the audit procedures? Please be thorough with the aspect of audit procedures. Audit procedures means like inquiry, inspection, observation, okay, recalculation. Okay, so you have to be very thorough with it. Actually, what are the audit procedures? Because the audit procedures are applied by auditor to obtain audit evidence. And two types of audit procedure: risk assessment procedure and the further audit procedure. Okay, and in SA 500, you please focus on management expert. You learned auditors expert in SA 620. In SA 500, we talk about the management expert. Okay. So as a management expert, how do you rely upon the work of management expert? You have to see the competence, capability of the management expert, the source data. So expert, any question comes in the exam where they say the expert was appointed by the company, then you should refer to SA 500 and not SA 620. You have to be very, very careful. Okay. Then the standard SA fight and initial engagement opening balances. So what are the responsibility? What is the responsibility of auditor for opening balances? Straight away, go to this question. Actually, auditor should obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence whether the opening balances are materially misstated. Actually, so focus only on that. It'll be done. That's the thing actually here. And also coming up to SA 505. Now SA 505 is a tricky standard because they'll ask you about positive confirmation request, NCR, negative confirmation request. Okay, for positive confirmation request, negative confirmation request, okay, and external confirmation procedure. What are the external confirmation procedures? Example, the direct confirmation should be obtained by the auditor. Then through the client, you should obtain confirmation directly. Directly should be obtained by the auditor. That's the thing actually, okay. So 505, PCR, positive confirmation request, negative confirmation request, external confirmation procedures, then factors for designing confirmation request, designing the confirmation. What are the factors for designing the confirmation request? That's the thing here. SA 501, one of the very important standard. Now this standard basically it will highlight about what you can say, my dear soldiers. It'll highlight about the things actually. So SA 501 is the one standard which talks about what you can say the physical inventory counting. It highlights about the physical inventory counting. Okay, that's the thing actually. So any physical inventory counting comes into picture actually. So it highlights about what you can say, my dear soldiers, the physical inventory counting. That's the thing. So any physical inventory counting is there that that you have to highlight actually. That's the thing. How do you deal with it? Suppose say if it is not practicable to do physical inventory counting. So very, very important area, favorite area of the examiner to test the students. And SA 501 also talks about segment reporting and claims and litigation. Claims and litigation. So on segment reporting, how do you consider the amounts? You have to see the presentation and disclosure of segment reporting as per accounting standards, and claims and litigation. You have to obtain the confirmation from the legal counsel. Okay, so that those areas you have to check actually. So 501 again, a equally important standard. Let's say 530 audit sampling. Audit sampling, please focus on the approaches of sampling, that is statistical approach and non-statistical approach. So what is the approaches of the sampling that you have to highlight actually? That's the thing actually here. So is it a statistical approach? It's a non-statistical approach that you have to check. That's the thing actually here. Okay. So statistical, non-statistical, that is what you do. Just a second. So what happens actually here, SA 530, the approaches to the sampling that you should know. And also selection of sample. You have to look into the selection of sample. Even that also should be checked, my dear soldiers. That's the thing here. So whenever we talk about the audit sampling, what happens actually here? The approaches of sampling, and also what you can say, the selection of sample, that also you need to look into. Actually, that is what highlights about what you can say the SA 530, what you can say the audit sampling. That's the thing actually here. Okay. So audit sampling basically, it's a application of audit procedures. That is what we have to understand. As far as what do you mean by audit sampling? Audit sampling is nothing but it's a application of the audit procedures on the less than 100% of items. So selection of sample, how the sample is being selected, approaches of sampling, statistical sampling, non-statistical sampling. Okay, that area you have to be very thorough with actually. Then you have SA 550, which is okay, related parties. Basically, what are the documents which is used to identify the related party? Okay, how do you identify the related party? Okay, the documents which are used to identify the related party, that is very much important actually. Okay, and again, audit procedures. Audit procedures is universal. In all standards, be thorough with audit procedure, because any question you see, 80% of the questions at final level at least, what they're telling actually, okay, as an auditor, what were you, how are you going to deal with this? So that is how it is actually. Okay, fine. Now let me move forward. Actually, let me go to the next one, the chapter number, what you can say, 6, which deals with what you can say completion and review. In completion and review, very, very important. See, when you take up module one, first you start with the chapter 1, then chapter 7, chapter 6. Chapter 7 is on audit reporting, and chapter 6 is on what you can say, it is on the completion and review. Okay, so these chapters are very, very important. Completion review is one of the favorite standards, is SA 570, which deals with what you can say going concern. It talks about what you can say the going concern. That's the thing here. So SA 560 deals with what you can say subsequent events, and SA 580, which deals with the what you can say return representation. It deals with the aspect of the return representation. So understand one thing, that as an auditor, what will you do when the going concern gets affected? As an auditor, what will you do? And related to subsequent events, as an auditor, what are you going to do? Don't get into too much into definition. Don't get into it. Straight away come as an auditor. What is the audit procedures? What is audit responsibility? Straight away come to that actually. That's the thing here. So once they obtain a written representation, how will you evaluate with written representation? Yes, written representation. So date and period of written representation. Date and period of written representation, very important. Okay. And suppose if written representation is not provided, how will you deal with this? Suppose it is not given to you actually, and it is not provided at all. Then how, as an auditor, how will you deal with this actually? Okay. That is chapter number 6 actually. That is going concern, SA 560 subject going concern, auditor's responsibility, the going concern. So if the going concern is appropriate, not appropriate, as an auditor, what is your responsibility? The auditor has to obtain SAI, has to appropriateness of management use of going concern based of accounting in the preparation and presentation of financial statement. How do you deal with the subsequent events? Inquiry with the management, evaluate the procedure followed by management to identify the subsequent event, read the subsequent interim financial statement. Okay. Then Chapter 7. First of all, learn to draft the opinion paragraph. Opinion, especially how do you draft a unmodified opinion, then a qualified opinion. Learn to draft those opinion and adverse opinion and disclaimer of opinion. This because this chapter short question will come actually here on drafting. Definitely, drafting is one of the very important areas. Okay, so they'll ask you, okay, how will you give your opinion actually? So you have to draft and give the opinion. Okay, that's the thing here. Suppose say if there is no material misstatement and SAI is available, that is evidence is available, then you give an unmodified opinion. But suppose say there are one or two issues, then you will give a qualified opinion. So if the majority issues, major material misstatement, adverse opinion, and majority of the evidence are not available. Evidence are not available, you have to give disclaimer of an opinion. So you have to highlight that. Should we read definition? Don't waste your time in reading definition. Pervasive, not pervasive. Nobody will ask. They'll ask you more how to draft the opinion, in what context actually the opinion to be drafted. Okay, and also please read essay 701, key audit matters. In key audit matters, basically, what are the areas to be considered for key audit matters? This is one of the for key audit matters. Key audit matters, basically areas which matters which alter things it's significant as per his judgment. So that is what we understand by key audit matter. Then you have essay 720. Essay 720, my dear soldiers, is other information. This is another favorite area of examiner, and they keep asking question on this. So other information. So suppose if the other information is inconsistent with financial statement, what will you do? Suppose a financial statement is not matching with other information which appears in the annual report. Okay, so how do you deal with this actually? And then essay 710. Essay 710 comparatives. Comparative is very, very important. That suppose we don't express opinion, so there is no opinion on corresponding figures. We don't express any opinion on corresponding figures. We just express our opinion only on the items in the financial statement. But there are certain exceptions. What are those exceptions that you have to see? What are the exceptions where we express opinion actually here on the items actually here? So that are exceptions where we express opinion. Uh, so no opinion, but we express opinion on the corresponding figure. Please read that thoroughly actually. Okay, that's the thing here. So now then again emphasis of matter paragraph, other matter paragraph. They'll ask you to draft it actually. Emphasis of matter paragraph, you are not expressing any opinion. You're just giving link to the items in the financial statement. Other matter paragraph talks about auditor's responsibility, auditor's opinion. So that is essay 706. Okay, that's the thing here. Now, so please understand that module one will have a very high weightage. And yes, of course, we also have Caro 2020. You have audit report under section 143. Read them thoroughly. Caro 2020 is very much important, my dear. So just because Caro, they will ask sure shot, you'll get a question from Caro. Sure shot. So this is like say confirmed topic actually. Like that's the thing here. So module one, almost it will come for around like say you can say 40 marks can come from module one actually. So module one is like one of the favorite area of the examiner actually. So that is why module one you have to focus accordingly. That's the thing here. Okay. And my audit report under 143, 143, 3. Okay, so you have to highlight about the reporting. Caro 2020 applicability, when it is not applicable, property, plant, equipment, intangible assets, then inventory, loans, investments, guarantees, securities, public deposits, okay, cost records, statutory dues. So Caro, I mean, all the clauses in Caro are very much important. So don't neglect Caro 2020. Short question comes from Caro 2020. Okay, that's the thing actually. Then when it comes, so module one, please put a high weightage actually and read relevant. Read relevant means start taking the ICI questions actually are RTP last 3 4 years RTP's question and start solving them actually. So that's the practice you should reach. Then next one we have what you can say the chapter 8, which goes into now the second this area that is specialized areas. When we talk about the specialized areas, my dear soldiers, this particular standard talks about SA 800. Okay, so it deals with three standards, SA 800, SA 805, and SA 810. Okay, so SA 800, where there is a audit of financial statement which is prepared as per the special purpose framework. So special purpose framework, generally these three standards has got three stages. One is the accepting the engagement. Engagement means work. accepting the engagement. Then second one, and planning and performing. And third one is what come on, the reporting, reporting. Accepting the engagement, planning and performing the engagement, and reporting. And so this is basically 800 deals with financial statement, which is prepared as per the special purpose financial reporting framework. The special purpose financial reporting framework. That is the thing actually here. So whenever we talk about SA 800, the financial statements, basically it is prepared as per the special purpose, what you can say, the financial reporting framework. That's the thing actually here. Okay. That is what you need to highlight and understand here. So you have to accept the engagement, plan and perform the engagement, and you need to go as per what you can say the reporting. That's the thing actually here. SA 805, it talks about audit of single financial statement, single financial statement. That's the thing. So it deals with the audit of single financial statement. When we talk about the single financial statement, what does it mean actually? And what do you mean by the audit of single financial statement? And that's the thing actually here. So here again, same three things they will talk about: acceptance of engagement, planning and performance of engagement, and reporting. So means uh, basically what happens, there are elements, accounts, single financial statement, then accounts are items. Okay. And 810 also deals with what you can say the summary financial statement. It talks about the aspect of summary financial statement. So how will you do the audit of summary financial statement? Same three stages. So if you read the 9 stages, entire chapter is over. Entire chapter is over. Okay. First is acceptance of engagement, planning and performance, reporting. Over. So summary financial statement, that way actually here. Okay, fine. So now in SA 810, 805, when you're doing audit of single financial statement, reporting area is very much important. Reporting. In 800, the first two part is very much important. That is acceptance of engagement, planning and performing. Okay. Whereas in 805, the reporting area is very much important. Okay. And coming up to the summary financial statement, basically the second part, that is planning and performance, that is very much important. All the 800 series standard has got three parts: terms of engagement, planning and performance, and reporting. 810 planning and performance is very much important. Then next one, we go to the chapter number 9. Chapter number 9. So chapter number 9, my dear soldiers, it deals with what you can say the related services. It talks about related services. There are two standards. One is the SRS 4400, which deals with agreed upon procedures, and SRS 4410, which talks about compilation engagement. Okay. So agreed upon procedures and what you can say compilation engagement. So now in this related services, please understand the auditor need not be independent. He need not be independent. And he is not doing any activity which is in the nature of assurance. Say compilation engagement means what? You take the trial balance and you prepare a financial statement. An agreed upon procedure means what? Certain procedures you apply on the financial statement, which are audit in nature, but you're not doing audit. You're not expressing any assurance. You're giving your factual findings. So, yes, chapter 9 is one of the favorite chapters of the examiners. Okay. Either they will tell, how do you check trade receivable? So the management will appoint you. See, you're applying procedures which are audit in nature, but you're not doing audit. So related services, basically, it is a completely no assurance. Okay, that's the thing here. Then chapter 10, which highlights about what you can say the review of financial information. Review of financial information. The review of financial information, you have two standards. One is SRE 2400 and SRE 2410. That's the thing. So there are two standards, my dear soldiers. So SRE 2400 is nothing but engagements to review the, what you can say, the historical financial statement. That's the thing actually here. So that is SRE 2400. And 2400 is what come on, engagements to review the historical financial statement. And SRE 2410 deals with what you can say where Review is done by the independent auditor of the entity. So it is done by the independent auditor of the entity. That's the thing actually here. So now this is what you need to highlight actually. That's the thing actually. So SRE 2400 talks about what you can say the review engagement. That's the thing actually here. So now this is what you need to highlight. Review means what? Where you apply only limited procedures. Limited procedure means inquiry and analytical procedures. So what inquiry you will be doing it, that they will ask you a question, or what uh, analytical procedures you will apply. Inquiry or analytical procedure. Only these two procedures you will apply in review. And this is applicable more in case of a listed company. So listed company. So in this case, basically what will be there in inquiry, what will be there in the review, especially in SRE 2400, you will understand. SRE 2400 is too lengthy. Don't waste your time. Rather pick up the ICI question and answers and solve it. That's more important. Okay, that you pick up and that you apply. And SRE 2410 when the inquiry is done by the independent auditor itself. Suppose the auditor of the company himself is doing review, and how does it, how do you deal with this actually? Okay, for this chapter, I advise that they pick up all ICA important question answers. It will be more than sufficient. For SRE 2410, what is contained in inquiry, what is contained in analytical procedure, that there you focus. The next one, my dear soldiers, the chapter number 11. Chapter 11. So chapter 11, my dear soldiers, it talks about the prospective financial information actually. So prospective financial information. How do you deal with the prospective financial information? So you have SA 3400. Okay, just a second. Just a second. So now chapter number 11 is C 3400, prospective financial information actually here. So prospective financial information, basically when you're reading this chapter, you have to focus on the examination procedures. See, this is basically you're dealing with the financial statement, which is the what you can say, which is of future oriented, which is speculative in nature. That's the thing here. So, what are the examination procedures you have to apply that? Basically, you have to see whether the assumptions are realistic in nature. Assumption is a reasonable so that to for preparation of what you can say the prospective financial information. So all these things are only future oriented. That's the thing here. You also have a C 3402. Since you read in chapter 2 402 service organization, this is reverse of 402, that is service organization. Here 3402, you look from the point of a service auditor. And in chapter 2, you look 402 from the point of user auditor. See, service auditor job is to evaluate the controls of service organization and give type 1, type 2 report, okay, to the user auditor. So what my suggestion is that 402, 3402, you read it together. Okay, that is more than sufficient because 3402 is from the point of view of the service auditor and 402 from the user auditor. And coming up to what you can say 3420. So 3420 basically it is dealing with what you can say pro forma financial information, which is presented in the prospectus. Basically, when if we are raising your money, how we'll be using your money, how the financials will look like. That is what it will be highlighting it. That's the thing actually. So how your financials will look like, how it will look actually, that is what you have to understand, my dear soldiers. Okay. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 8, 9, 10, 11, these chapters, my strong request is that you read from ICI question answers. That'll be more than sufficient actually, because there are very less number of questions from the previous examination. It's not that it is not important, it is important, but this is how you can go up. So all these four chapters are new, very brand new chapters. That's the thing here. Okay. So next one, chapter 12, again another brand new chapter, that is digital auditing. Digital auditing. Digital auditing, straight away, what is you can focus on the my dear soldier, that is the IoT, Internet of Thing actually here. Okay. Then blockchain technology, blockchain technology, Internet of Things actually. Okay. So that is a very much important thing actually here. And understanding IT environment, very, very important to understanding IT environment. Okay. Cyber risk, cyber risk, cyber risk actually, that is important actually. So cyber risk actually and blockchain. So understand what different types of cyber risk, and that's the thing here. Okay. And also remote auditing. So these areas are very much important. Internet of Things, blockchain, understanding IT environment, cyber risk, actually, remote auditing. Okay. Then the next generation audit, very, very important actually from the examination point of view. Then coming up to group audit, which is chapter number 13. Uh, Group audit, you should straight away, what is it, focus on the reporting requirement for consolidated financial statement. Very important. Straight away go. Reporting requirement will be there at the end of the chapter. Read that thoroughly. Reporting requirement, very, very important. Then what is permanent consolidation adjustment? What is current period consolidation adjustment? They are also very, very important. So reporting requirement for consolidated financial statement, then the permanent consolidation adjustment, current period consolidation adjustment. Okay, and now this time management representation and completeness of information. Completeness of information means what? For example, a company has got 300 subsidiary companies. Parent company has got 300 subsidiaries like Tata and Ambani, Adani. There should not be any omission. Okay, there should not be any omission should happen. That's the thing here. And auditor's responsibility. Auditor mainly reporting is very much important, and other auditor's report responsibility that you have to highlight in the chapter number 13. Then coming up to chapter number 14. Chapter number 14, my dear soldiers, it talks about what you can say bank audit, and NBFC audit, bank audit, NBFC. Bank audit specifically be thorough with performing asset and non-performing asset provision, PA and PA, then asset classification into for a bank. What is asset? It's the loans and advances given by the bank into standard, substandard, doubtful asset, loss asset. Okay, so that provisioning you should know. What is the amount of provisioning? They may ask you, and for auditing exam, don't forget to take the calculators. Calculators are must and mandatory. Please don't forget to take it actually here. So provisioning. So straight away focus more on what you can say advances. The main business of bank is to give loans and advances. Okay, and then contingent liability. Manage liability. Then SLR, what is included? SLR, statutory liquidity ratio. Okay, so these things are very much important. So as far as the bank audit is concerned, NBFC. When we talk about the NBFC audit, NBFC basically it will highlight about the first. You should straight away go to the Reporting requirement in NBFC. Reporting requirement. Reporting requirement basically NBFC accepting deposits and NBFC not accepting deposits. So not accepting deposits. Okay. So those NBFC which are accepting deposit, those NBFC which are not accepting deposits. So that's very important actually. Okay. And reporting requirement, straight away go to the reporting requirement and classification of fraud, classification of frauds in NBFC. How do you classify the fraud? Module 2 weightage from the examination point of view, total entire module 2 will be around 25 marks. So module 1, 40 marks. Module 1 is very much important, 40 marks. Module 2 weightage will be around 25 marks will be the weightage. So first give high weightage to the module 1. Okay, then come to the module 2. Module 2 again, what approach you can do? You can just solve important question and answers in the module 2. Test your understanding question, test your knowledge question. Many students they neglect test your understanding question, test your knowledge question. So please don't do that actually here. So okay, that's the thing here. So they neglect, but you should not neglect it, my dear soldiers. Okay. Then the next important thing that is module 3. Module 3, you have what you can say the chapter number 15, which talks about PSU audit. PSU audit, many students they struggle. So you have what you can say comprehensive audit, comprehensive audit. You have performance audit and proprietary audit. Focus on these three audits. Very important from examination. Very important. But now recently the RTP Committee of Public Undertaking, what it is. So, but first the comprehensive audit, performance audit, proprietary audit, very important from examination point. They all revolve around economy, efficiency, and effectiveness. Okay, and then you have the chapter 16. Chapter 16. The chapter 16, basically, this particular chapter, it highlights about what you can say the internal audit. If you link with SA 610 and read it, very good. Internal audit, I told you that what are the factors you consider like about the work of internal auditor. Okay, and internal auditor providing direct assistance. That area you have to focus on. Basically, whenever any standards in auditing, as an auditor, what is your responsibility? And read section 138. Very important. That applicability of internal audit and who can act as a internal auditor. This may be one of the favorite question of the examiner. Okay. Chapter 17 deals with the due diligence, investigation, and forensic accounting. Straight away past examination questions, ICI material question, more than sufficient. Sufficient actually here for this particular chapter. 17, 18 can manage with this actually. This past examination question, RTP, MTP questions. Okay, that's the thing here. So especially from chapter 8 to chapter 18, you can juggle with ICI question, past examination question, RTP, MTP question. It will help you, especially chapter 8 to chapter. There's 1 to 7, module 1. You require a thorough understanding of module 1. Application based question, all these things will come. And chapter 18, this is a new area, ESG. Okay, then sustainable development goals, SDG. So this is what you can say a new area, ESG and sustainable development goal. Okay, so here in ESG, you have to study the integrated reporting. Okay, integrated reporting. This is very much important. Then be very much thorough with business responsibility and sustainability reporting. Business responsibility and sustainability reporting. And what is the role of auditor? You have to focus on the role of auditor. That's very important. So three things very much important, that is integrated reporting, business responsibility, sustainable reporting, and what is the role of auditor for climate related risk in audit of financial statements. So please be thorough with these three areas in ESG SDG. It comes to chapter 19, which deals with professional ethics. So you have first schedule of CA Act 1929. In that part one, you have part one. So part one, you please be thorough with clause two. Clause two, where CA cannot share the fees. Clause three, cannot accept the fees. Okay. Then clause six, where CA will what you can say, he will advertise by way of circular advertisement and personal communication. And clause 7 talks about communication with the basically advertising the professional attainments and using any designation other than chartered accountant. And clause 8 talks about the communication with the previous auditor. The clause 9, your appointment should be as per the compliance of the what is the requirement of the Companies Act. Have you complied or not? Okay, that's what you have to check actually. Okay, so clause 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, then clause 10, charging fees on percentage basis. 11, you cannot engage into any occupation other than CA. And clause 12, this is also important, where you are you're allowing somebody else to sign other than CA. Okay, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Very, very important. And very, very important. Please read them thoroughly. Okay. And in part, what you can say, part 4, where it talks about clause 2, which deals with what you can say disrepute to the profession. So suppose say PA will bring disrepute to the profession. In part 3, you have clause 2, where you fail to give information to ICI ICI committee, display committee. Okay, like that's you fail to give information to quality review board. Right? So when you fail to give information to ICI display committee, any committee of ICI, that is very much important. Okay. Then second schedule part one deals with CA in practice. So here you have to focus on the clause number 1, which talks about confidentiality. Clause number 2, where you highlight about the importance of what you can see, where the certification is done by checking, by certified by the auditor or his partner. Okay, and so they sign unless somebody else has checked it. And clause 3, it talks about the forecasted statement. Clause 4, you cannot do an audit where you have substantial interest. So where you see or his partner relative, they have substantial interest, you can't do audit of that particular entity. Then clause 7 talks about negligence. Okay, and so clause 10, where you fail to keep the money in a separate bank account. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 10. These clauses are very important in the second schedule. Okay, then also we talk about the part 2. Part 2, where specifically the clause number 1. Clause number 1. So this is applicable to the CA in general when he fails to comply with CA Act 1949, CA Regulations Act. So CA Regulations Act, CA Act 1949, CA Regulation Act actually, okay, are Council General Guidelines. Council General Guidelines. Council General Guidelines. Council General Guidelines for you clause guideline number like say 4, 5. So 4 to 10, you please be thorough with these guidelines. There's a guideline on networking. Please be thorough with the networking guideline. Okay, that's all about the what you can say the second schedule actually, second schedule and the first schedule. This is how it is. Okay. So with this, I wish you all the best for the upcoming examination. Actually, talking about module 3 will come for like say it has got a 35% weightage. Okay, so that is module 3. So module 2 has got, we can say, 25% weightage, and module 1, or you can say 40% weightage goes on module 1. Focus more on module 1 first, then module 3, then come at the end, module 2, you can take up and do it. Okay, that's how it will reduce your risk actually. Okay, sometimes module 1 goes to 50%, 40 to 50%, sometimes it goes to 40%. Okay, but as far as module 2 is concerned, as of now, it's fairly constant actually. Okay, thank you very much. I wish you all the best for the upcoming research. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.